Welcome to Private Banking Strategies Podcast with Vance, Lowe, and Seth Hicks, your secret weapon to protect your assets and never have to start over financially again. Vance and Seth help high net worth individuals, families, business owners, and investors structure an asset-protected, tax-free fortress for their families. Learn how to keep what you earn and use the velocity of money to create your own private banking system. Join us on this journey as we explore the secret strategies of the rich and political elite and help you take total control of your financial security. Now, on to the show.
Welcome to Private Banking Strategies Podcast with Vance Lowe and Seth Hicks. Vance, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I think we've got some information for anybody and everybody who's willing to listen and wants to try to get to the next level of understanding on how money works.
Absolutely. Today we're going to do something that people have asked for and clients have asked for over and over again. It's case studies on a successful family or a case study on perhaps an unsuccessful family. But today we're going to focus on the Rivera family, where the names and the identities have been changed, obviously, to protect people's confidentiality. But the Rivera family is a great example of how to start and operate a private family bank, and how to build a 100-year private family banking system for your family. So Vance, talk to us about that.
Well, let's go in and share with our audience the scenario. People are willing to write this down or they can re-listen to this. But let's go into the typical family and put yourself into this situation if maybe you fit. We got a couple of parents here. They love each other. They're 45 and 44. They're professionals. They've got 3 kids, say 15, 12, and 5. And household income, because both parents work, they have some primary goals. So I want to share those with you. And I want us all, maybe this can be just an open forum a little bit and everybody think through, well, here's how I would do it. Here's what I would say. But they want to plan college without destroying liquidity. You know, we've got some strong ideas about college by itself as probably a number one destroyer of family liquidity. But college or, higher education for their kids, build business seed funds for their kids so that they've got a legacy and an income where they can create their own financial independency. They want tax-free legacy. We all do. We all want that. Pay a little amount in taxes and set this up because they're so family oriented. They have extended family and they have multi-generation traditions that they uphold to, and they want to keep that going. So the 100-year plan is in their makeup. They want this to last multi-generational and establish a structure that trains each generation that takes over this strategy so that it will improve every generation. It won't deteriorate. So Seth, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, they built a plan in mind to sustain college tuitions if children want to go to college or perhaps start businesses. And they're concerned about having the liquidity and the capitalization without being vulnerable to the tax erosion, inflation erosion, market risk, lack of liquidity with bank financing, bank limitations, changing government laws and rules, or any other type of financial aid traps. And one of the things that Daniel communicated, the father, was, I don't want to leave my kids money. I want to leave them a strategy. I want to leave them a system. I want to teach them how to steward money that me and Elena make and not just hand them loaded guns without knowing how to operate the strategy.
That's one of the parts that are so endearing to make it multi-generational. Seth, you've got real live examples of rich families who pass inheritance on to kids, money on to kids. And you kind of got a saying, something like the second generation tries to maintain the inheritance, but the third generation blows it. Why is that? And why will this fix that?
Great question. I mean, I think it's because you've got no system, no strategy, no plan in place, and you've got massive power and money. Those two things combined are a recipe for disaster. You have to create structure and ways where the next generation learns stewardship, learns management, fiscal responsibility, appropriate leverage, appropriate risk, and mitigation of risk. And generally, the first generation, in our case, Daniel and Elena, if they make all this money and hand it to their children will inevitably do the best they can, but it's a matter of chance if they're not given a system and a strategy. When Daniel and build the private family bank and the structure and the strategies, the kids have to participate in the way it's structured, or they disqualify themselves from the use of the private family bank. That's how you guarantee structure, stewardship, and financial responsibility with future generations.
And let me lay this out, because what Seth just said, people think, wow, this is just going to be complicated and really difficult to set up, and I'm not that smart. Folks, this is going to blow you away when you find out how easy, how simple it is to structure, to set it up, and to run it. It is amazing. Anyone of any education background can make this happen and set this up and be extremely successful with it.
And so when Daniel and Elena come in and they begin to place policies, the first generation policies are on themselves. And they have reciprocal and multifaceted interests, obviously. We don't really solve for death benefit. We often tell people that, but it is a component of the structure. And when someone dies, there's a death benefit paid. That money should go into the family banking system. So if Daniel were to leave the planet, he's going to leave a sizable death benefit that is for the benefit of Elena, his wife, and his 3 children. And Elena can continue to implement the strategies and the plans that her and Daniel put in place without going bankrupt or having to change the structure and the strategy. And it's not a best case scenario for their family, but if it happens, that money comes into the system and begins to fund other policies or be available for their banking. And so the first generation policies are on the patriarchs and the matriarchs, and they're usually the most sizable policies. And then after that, perhaps sometimes at the same time, depending on a family's strategy and their financial capitalization abilities, they start to place policies on the children. Why is that an important part of the structure, placing policies on the children, Vance?
Well, because they have time on their side. One of the benefits of strategy is that money starts working for us and it circulates. And this term is called velocity. It's how many times money can touch down. And in the strategy, we literally put money to work. So we get credit for it, and then we get it back, and then we use it again and get credit for it. And it always comes back. The money always draws back, which doesn't happen in people's lives now. And if you start that on young generations, the upfront cost is really a lot less, but it's, again, not a significant factor. These contracts are what hold our wealth, what hold our assets, but it gives them so much more time to get massive amounts of money in those contracts. When we're older, it's based on what we're able to put in now and can accumulate at the same rate, but not as many times. And if you read our book, we put in there a penny doubled 30 times will amount to, imagine if it doubled 31 times. So we want to set that up now. I set that up on 10 of my grandkids. I have 3 of those 10 totally uninsurable right now. They can never get more life insurance on them, but we've got nice contracts on them, a lot of cash value in those contracts, able to pay for colleges right now or their cars, all types of those things right now. So it is important because it becomes the bank when the older people die. When the patriarchs die, these first 2 that we're talking about here, they'll die. That death benefit will then be paid into this trust where all the policies are, and it's going to pay off all the loans, and it's going to provide monies for the next generation of policies. They're going to look at the very youngest. Maybe the grandkids are now married and they're having kids. And so there needs to be policies put on them so that the same thing can happen. I don't want to go into really deep structure here, but it's very perpetual. Again, the younger kids, they will end up with more death benefit than they can ever qualify for, because the death benefits, the way the proper contracts are structured, increases every single year. along with the cash value and everything else. It can't go down. If somebody wants to put $5,000 or $10,000 on a newborn, that's $1 million, maybe even $3 million worth of death benefit. And we're not even going after that. And then if it just increases from that point, look what comes into the family bank when that generation deceases.
Did that story feel like it was about you? Do you feel like you are generating a lot of revenue, but are not moving forward as fast as you would like? Do you feel you should be making more progress toward your financial goals? Do you feel stuck? Let us help you get unstuck. Are you ready to take action and get your own private bank? Please visit us at www.privatebankingstrategies.com.
The long-term compounding growth on the policies initiated when someone is a child is staggering, and it's precisely for that. And Vance mentioned that in our book. You can get a copy of that, folks, as a gift from us for being on our podcast, and hit the website, privatebankingstrategies.com. You'll be offered the book, and the book's title is How to Grow Rich with Secrets That the Banks Don't Want You to Know. One of the secrets banks don't want you to know is that you can capture your own compounding growth and not give your money to them to make money off of you. So that's a huge pro tip right there. Check the book out, put your name and email in, and download our book. It's available in PDF or audio. Long-term compounding growth on minor children will stagger you at the end of that curve. Someone that has a life insurance policy on them for 70 years paying premiums in is just incredibly efficient, cost-effective, and long-term compounding machine that will stagger you. But yeah, Vance, I mean, we've got, the book shows a penny compounding, but we have illustrations, and Nelson Nash has illustrations in his book that show, like the twin sisters illustration that people can look at it. Folks, that's another real key example of how something simple. The twin sisters is one of the first episodes we have on our podcast, and we go through illustrations of what just using life insurance to finance automobiles can do when you start early enough and then have a 30-year curve, a 40-year curve, and it's staggering.
It is. Let me share one example. It's not a deep dive, but it is a legitimate idea that people practice every day. One of the things, once we buy our own debt, we like to do is we buy our own automobile debt. And one of my perfect examples, and I lived this is twice over the last 20 years, and I'm still practicing this. I wanted to get back all the money I'd ever bought vehicles with over a lifetime. And what we did, envision this, if you will. You've got a family member out there who is paying for an automobile, and he's in the back half of the loan period of time. And the payoff on the note happens to be $10,000. And I just so happen to have $10,000 sitting in one of my plans, my policies I want to put to work. So I tell my son or daughter that I want to buy that automobile debt that you're paying Honda Finance right now. They'll ask, okay, what will that do? What will that cost? Everybody's interested in the interest. And it's simple. Well, it's not going to change for you at all. I'm just going to buy the debt. But when I buy the debt, I get the monthly payment that they're making, and it just so happens to be $500 a month. If I take the money at work, which is $10,000, and if I receive $500 per month, that's $6,000 per year, folks, right? If we do the math right, 6,000 divided by the money at work is a 60% volume rate of return. And right there, I'll bet you've never in your life thought about that before, because this is why lenders lend money. It's the volume rate of return coming back into your control that doubles assets. If you did the math, that would be 30,000 in 5 years. But if you took the 6,000 and you bought more debt with it, and you got the 60% return, which is average for all of the clients out there, 60% is the average volume rate of return, that same 5 years, it wouldn't be 30,000. It would be $180,000+ back in hand. Now let's double that $10,000. See how many times we double that 10,000. There's an example right there, folks, of what this strategy does if you put it in your life, and why this 100-year plan will take any family into financial security in such a short period of time.
Right. And this has been proven out at even the highest family-owned office levels, and clients worth literally tens of millions of dollars in real estate holdings that use that very principle to capture their own cash flow, leverage appropriately into real estate opportunities, have places when they sell real estate to dump windfall. It's proven out with some of the most sophisticated real estate developers that I know in 30 years of practice, using the banking policies to implement that. So, folks, if you like what you're hearing, hit our website, privatebankingstrategies.com. We've got robust materials and content there, over 150 some odd episodes and growing of podcasts, which you're probably listening to us on right now. We've got blog articles, but more importantly, you've got access to one of the preeminent IBC private banking strategies coaches in the world, which is Vance. He was protéged by Nelson Nash. I'm not a bad sidekick in everything that I bring, but we'd love to help you. We want people that want to steward their families well, leave generational wealth, and that's our focus. And so if these things resonate with you, you'll have an opportunity to schedule an exploratory call with Vance through the emails that you sign up for. You got to put your name, your email in. You're going to get access to our book, Secrets the Banks Don't Want You to Know, How to Grow Rich with the Secrets. You'll get that in audio, in a written form, but more importantly, you'll be able to schedule a call with Vance on an exploratory call, and he will be able to take you on a test drive of how this will fit for your family. Whether you're the wealthiest family we've ever talked to, or whether you're the poorest family, we don't really distinguish. We want to help the little guy. We want to help the blue collar folks, and this will work for you. And it will work for the richest people on earth. And the richest people on earth already use it, most of them. So any other closing remarks, Vance?
No, I just challenge you guys to take the next step, improve your existing situation. Otherwise, 5 years from now, it's going to be the same as it is today. We just have to do a little bit more effort. It produces so much more results. So I encourage all of you to take the challenge. Let us help you take this for a test drive so that you can actually see with your own numbers what it will do for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, folks, for visiting with us. We look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. And until then, be good.
Bye-bye.
Did that story feel like it was about you? Do you feel you should be making more progress toward your financial goals? Do you feel stuck? Let us help you get unstuck. Are you ready to take action and get your own private bank? Please visit us at www.privatebankingstrategies.com.
Thank you for listening to the Private Banking Strategies Podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available.